Hi all photographers and non-photographers. I've been getting quite a few comments on how I transform my color photos into black and white before I begin the actual editing process. Well, I'm going to share this special technique for that ultimate color conversion to black and white. I won't be doing the whole editing process from start to finish, as I have many videos on black and white editing. So let's get started.
Hi, once again, we're in Adobe Camera Raw and we're going to start the process of turning color images into black and white, so you get a great start to the final processing of your image. I won't be covering the whole process, just the transformation part from color to black and white, and I'll show you a few tips on the way. So let's begin. First thing I do is play around with the exposure panel here. I always start off by reducing the highlights, increase slightly the shadows, increase the whites until I see clippings on the histogram top right corner, like now, and I go back down until there's no clippings. I do the same for the blacks and dial it down for no more clippings. A touch of contrast, and I'm going to reduce the exposure just a touch. Next thing we're going to do is increase the saturation, colors and all of the whole image. Don't forget, we'll be turning it to black and white, and it will be in our benefit by doing this. I use the calibration tool panel down here and I increase the blue primary. You can increase it all the way, don't over exaggerate it. I usually just go above halfway to around 60, depending on your image. You can see we're over saturated. And I'm going to go to the effects panel now, increase a bit of texture and a touch of clarity, a bit of dehaze also, and I'm going to go down to the detail, increase the sharpening to around 40. I always reduce the radius all the way and the detail all the way. Another tip, move the masking, hold down the Alt key until you see your image turning into black and white where you want the image to be sharp. The whites will be sharp and the blacks will not be touched. To around somewhere there. You can increase the sharpening a bit more now. I'm going to go just a bit more up to 50. So now we're ready from this editing part in color. I think that's enough. And from here we're going to take it over to Photoshop. I do not touch the black and white up here on the top to transform it to black and white. I rather convert it into Photoshop, and I'll be showing you a very simple method, so please don't scare away from Photoshop. I'm going to press OK, and here we are in Photoshop. The next thing I'm going to do is go down to the right side bottom and click on this half black and white circle and click on the black and white. We've turned it into black and white. That's the first step. We're not ready. Leave it how it is. Close this one. Go back down to the half black and white circle and click on the gradient map. Now you're going to see the image is going to be dark. Just go down to this drop down window where you have smooth and click on classic. And there we have a much more better black and white image. You can click on this gradient map here once, and you can, to your liking, increase the left side or the right side. If you move the slider, the white slider to the left, you're going to get more white exposure in your image. And I think that should be okay. Next, I'm going to press OK, close this panel, close this one, and now I'm going to click on these 3 lines here, and I'm going to flatten the image. We're not ready, and now I'm going to take it back over to Adobe Camera Raw, or you can take it, if you're using Lightroom, back over to Lightroom. And there you can begin your editing process. And start working on the image. What I usually do, I go back to the exposure panel. You can see the sliders are all set to 0, and I play around with these a bit more until I see the image how I like it. To around there, increase slightly the shadows. You can see the image is coming to life now. Increase a bit of white. You can hold down the Alt key and move the black slider. And I'm going to increase just slightly the exposure. If you want, you can keep playing around with the other sliders and the panels. And from here, I usually start with the masking and work my way with linear gradients and radial gradients. I mostly use radial gradients, and I usually end up with a vignette. I'm gonna just do one radial gradient for you guys, and I'm gonna show you the difference when you make a vignette. Just place it depending on the lightest part of the image, which is the waterfall. I'm going to place it like this, and don't forget to invert the mask to create your vignette. And now you're going to see a big difference. Well, that's how I turn my images from color to black and white. You can check my other videos and you will see the amazing effects I have when using the masking tools. Thanks guys for watching, and I hope I answered many of your questions that you left in the comments on my other videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in another video.